The only reason Brienne stood up from her bed every day was to get some food in her stomach. You can imagine how much someone would love to eat if that were their daily motivation to get out of bed. She was worried that her husband would leave her, and that her overeating would end up taking her life. She was hoping that Dr. Now would accept her as one of his patients.
My mom will be here any minute. But the last time I saw her, I was in the upper 400s. I'm nervous about how she's going to react at how big I am now.
Mama. How you doing? All that weight is crushing your insides.
You're 30 years old and over 700 pounds. The only hope is to change now. So if I accept you into my program, you will need to move down to Houston. Are you willing to do that?
As you would expect, Dr. Now told her she needed to meet a certain weight requirement before he agreed to have surgery done to remove the excess fat. She needed to lose over 120 pounds of excess fat in a couple of months, and for Brienne, it wasn't easy at all. Thankfully, she was able to lose the required weight. Let's see if Dr. Now will approve her for surgery.
Doc told me I had to lose 120 pounds in 2 months. So that means I need to have made it down to 622 today.
Hi, Brienne. How are you?
Hang on a second. I need a bag. Oh, man.
We should take her to the hospital. After running some tests, we were able to determine that Brienne currently is suffering from some food poisoning.
Well, guess what? She was approved, and in no time, she was in the surgery room having her surgery done. Dr. Now was proud of the fact that she wasn't just saying she wanted to lose weight. She actually put in the work, and the results came out quite fantastic. Her parents weren't so supportive of her desire to lose her excess weight.
What was childhood like for you?
I just felt like my dad called me fat names.
Where was your mom when this was happening?
She'd be like, Brienne, you were wrong. You should not be talking back. Or
basically saying that she's choosing him over you. I think learning to stick up for yourself a little bit might be really helpful. Talking to your mom is probably a big step.
Growing up, I just felt like Dad didn't love me.
I can see that.
But I didn't understand why you didn't do something to stop how he treated me.
After her surgery and all the effort she had put into the process, she had lost over 350 pounds of her excess weight. When she checked her current weight at her new appointment with Dr. Now, she couldn't believe her eyes. It was like a miracle had taken place. All Dr. Now wanted from her at the moment was for her to find someone she could confide in to help her with the recovery process.
Holy
You lost almost 350 pounds at this point. Here we go. Once you figure out someone to help you with your recovery, then we'll move ahead with your first extraction removal from around your stomach.
Even after getting rid of so much weight and having a successful surgery, things didn't particularly come out as planned. A few weeks after her surgery, she noticed that she started having severe pains in her stomach. Her pains got so bad that she had no choice other than to return to Dr. Now Hospital and talk to him about how she was feeling.
I'm not doing well. A couple of days ago, I started having these really bad stomach pains. Then I had some bleeding, and it got so bad that I had to go to the hospital. I was supposed to be having my skin removal surgery about now. That's changed because after they ran some tests, you'll never believe what Dr. Now told me. He said I was pregnant and that it's possible I may have had a miscarriage.
Brienne wasn't really as focused on her weight loss journey as she used to be. Her current situation of having to think that she was pregnant and might have lost the baby was not allowing her to give the weight loss process all the attention it needed. She's in Dr. Now's office, hoping that she gets some good news because her husband has no idea what's going on.
You had the pregnancy test that was positive, then you had the bleeding. You may lost the pregnancy, but you may not, because you can still be pregnant and have a period too. Okay, so in order to determine, we're gonna have to look at your level of the pregnancy test for the next week or two. Okay.
Okay.
Dr. Now wasn't going to ignore the fact that she had been slacking in her weight loss process. He understood that she was in a very tight spot, but he didn't want her to go back to eating a lot, so the entire surgery process wouldn't be in vain, regardless of whether she was pregnant or not.
I know it's hard right now, but you can't take your focus off of getting healthy. And even if you turn out to be pregnant, you still can lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay? The first few months. Just every week and see which way we're going. If the tests are going up, then you have a pregnancy that is progressing.
Well, it wasn't particularly bad news after all. It was still too early to determine if she was actually pregnant, and there were no signs that she had lost the baby. Dr. Now wanted her to keep focusing on losing her weight and not worry about getting pregnant. And even if she wanted to get pregnant, it was not going to be a problem for her.
See, it wasn't a possibility for her. So she's moving in the right direction. She just needs to pick up the pace with her weight loss. The big question now is whether she's pregnant or not. But once we fully determine that, we can figure out the next step for her as long as she stayed on track.
What Dr. Now said kind of made me feel a bit better.
This couple has a long way to go, believe me. They had gotten so fat that they could no longer sleep on the same bed. They had gained so much weight that they began to have issues with trying to speak properly. For them, their bonding, or should I say, was food, and that's where all their problems originated from. Can Dr. Now help her? Oh well, here is how her journey started.
Me and my wife, Vianey, can't be in the same bed. Because of how big we both are now. I have a speech problem. It kept me from having a lot of friends. But Vianey been the best thing that ever happened to me. And the biggest thing we bonded over was food.
Food is what keeps me and Allen going.
They knew they had a serious problem, and if they did not find a solution very soon, things were just going to get even worse for them. They reached out to Dr. Now, who was more than willing to help them get rid of all the excess fat they had in their bodies. He asked them to come in and check their weights so he would know the necessary steps that had to be taken.
I'm almost bedridden, Dr. Now.
What about you, Allen? What does your eating habit look like?
Pizza and ice cream, stuff like that.
You both need to turn your situation around. And if y'all want my help, you need to consider coming to Houston for the long term, because it's going to be very risky for both of you to travel back and forth like that.
Okay, doctor. We want to take this risk. We're serious.
Vianey was able to lose a substantial amount of weight, which enabled her to reach the required weight to have her surgery, but her husband, on the other hand, needed some extra effort. Allen wasn't as energetic as his wife when it came to the weight loss journey. Trust me, some part of him just couldn't give up his love for junk food.
If I lost the 50 pounds I need, I'd be below 544 today.
Vianey, so over the last month, you lost 68 pounds. So I'm proud of you, and since you did so well, I'm going to approve you for weight loss surgery.
Yeah,
God.
I
Okay.
want her to go first.
Well, that's good, because you lost less than half of what Vianey did. I'm going to give you 2 months to lose at least 80 pounds.
Okay.
Things didn't go as planned, even though she met her weight loss target for surgery. While in the operating room, her heart stopped beating while the surgery was being done. In order for her to stay alive, the surgery had to be stopped. Trust me, she was devastated and beyond heartbroken.
You didn't get the operation because your heart stopped for a few seconds, okay? All right, you're gonna be okay, all right?
Vianey has been really sad about not getting the surgery.
I'm even mad that Dr. Now brought me back. Like, he should just let me go.
I'm just really struggling right now, and I don't know how to get past it.
Sadly, she got depressed about the whole situation and just disappeared into the wind. Her doc tried to reach out to her, but she was nowhere to be found. About a week later, she came to the hospital and complained that she had an infection that stopped her from being able to do anything with herself, and trust me, it was quite severe.
She said that the infection started a few months ago and kept her from being active, so she fell off the wagon and gained over 60 pounds. Now she's doing much better. She was 433 when she showed up a week ago, but at her last weight check yesterday, we had gotten her back down to 408.
After getting better, she went back to seeing her therapist in the hopes of trying to feel better and out in the work so she could have her surgery done again. The beautiful thing was that as much as her husband wasn't ready to go on his weight loss journey with her, he was beyond supportive of her achieving her goal.
That I found online, things that I wanted to kind of do with you and stuff. What she's trying to do is to get me to look towards my future and to have some goals that I want to hit so that I'll have something to keep me motivated. But I have a big fear of failure, and that's what cripples me the most. I'm gonna fail this surgery, and I feel like what's the point of even going through it if...
Allen was getting really sad and worried about his wife. Her not being able to get her surgery done took a heavy toll on her, and now all she does is sit at home and eat. She even gained more pounds than the last time she paid a visit to the hospital, and it was starting to scare her husband a lot.
It's been bad with Vianey though. She struggled a lot, and I think she gained some weight back. That's a problem because we're not the same no more. I want to get out and live my life, especially now that we can go back out to places. But Vianey seems like she don't want to do nothing. I don't even try no more to get her out the house with me.
It all felt like it was happening in reverse. I mean, Vianey was the one who wanted to lose so much weight and have her surgery done, but when he visited the doctor, it was the complete opposite. Allen had lost so much weight that even the doctor had no choice but to approve him for surgery. His wife, on the other hand, still had a lot of progress to make.
You think you can do that?
Yep.
All right, great. Let me know when you can do that, and we get you on the schedule for that. And then afterward, you'll be done. So you have come a long way, and I'm happy to see that you have stuck with it over the past year. Just keep it up, and we'll get you taken care of.
Thank you, Dr. Now.
Well, Vianey, how are you getting along?
Not good, Dr. No.
You didn't have the benefit of weight loss surgery like Allen over the past years.
The doc wasn't bothered about her husband because he was doing exceptionally well on his journey. He was worried about Vianey because the first time she had surgery, she almost lost her life. And if she wasn't careful this time, things might just end up like the previous time or worse.
She pushes her heart to the limit again. She might not survive another emergency, so I'm very concerned about her right now. And if she keeps alienating Allen, she can end up self-destructing and losing everything important to her.
I suppose that were better than I thought, but it was still a hard appointment for me. And I'm disappointed because I feel like a failure at this point. But I hear what Dr. Now.
Being in Nikki's condition was like living an endless nightmare. Anytime she woke up and wanted to do anything with herself, she always felt so much pain. Every day of her life for over a year, she felt like she was trapped in a body that didn't want to allow her to do anything for herself. She begins her story like this.
Wake up. The pain that I feel is overwhelming. I feel like I'm trapped because it's just difficult to move my body. But the hardest thing for me to live with is my stomach. That gets in the way of everything. It's miserable.
There were so many times that her mom complained and tried to talk to her about her eating habits and the dangers they posed to her life, but Nikki never listened. She told her mother that when it came to eating, she had total control over what and how she ate. But who was she kidding? Eventually, her mom gave up and things took a turn for the worst.
Many times that I would talk to her about her eating habits, but Nikki's told me food is one thing I have control over. It hurts my feelings when you talk to me about it. Finally, I'd say, okay, you know what, Nikki, I don't care.
Food has always been an addiction for me, and my addiction to it.
Seeing that her condition was getting out of hand, Nikki and her father traveled to Houston with the hopes of trying to save her and get her some help. Since she couldn't go to the gym to burn off the excess fat, their best option was to get weight loss surgery done for her.
This is my rock bottom and my last chance, and if this doctor can't do anything for me, I would probably feel like it was a death sentence.
649.
This is the highest I've ever weighed.
Nikki is eating 5 to 6 times a day. Some of that is enabled by her family.
Nikki knew she had to get better, not just for her family, but for herself as well. She could feel her body slowly giving up on her, and if she wasn't careful, things might get really bad. The doctors gave her instructions, which stated that for her to be able to undergo the surgery, she had to be less than 600 pounds. Thankfully for her, she made the cut.
I feel my body deteriorating, so I know this is a race against the clock. I'm really scared. I'm not going to be under 600 pounds to qualify for surgery.
I see you lost 63 pounds in 1 month. You done very well, but I need to run some tests to be sure that you are ready for surgery now.
Even after losing so much weight before trying to get the surgery done, the doctors told her it wasn't enough and she had to lose more weight. She had so much fat covering her heart, and they were scared that if a surgery was done with so much fat covering her heart, she might not make it out of the surgery room. For Nikki, this was the saddest news she ever had to hear.
For her to lose more weight, I want you to lose another 50 pounds over the next couple of months and try to address this issue.
I worked so hard. I just feel hopeless right now, but I want to live. I did it once. I know I can do it again.
Finally, she was able to lose the weight, and the day for her surgery was here, but Nikki was overwhelmed by it all. She was scared about the surgery going sideways. It was one of those situations where an individual was risking their life so they could have a life. Thankfully, the surgery went really well, but there was another problem, and that was her craving to always eat.
I feel terrified about what could happen. I love you. I love you. I'm risking my life to have a life.
Everything went very well. A sleeve is going to help her to lose a lot of weight.
I'm proud of how far I've come, but my cravings are slowly coming back.
Things got really well for Nikki within the space of a year and a half. She had gone from over 600 pounds to less than 400 pounds. She was able to move around freely and even take care of her family. She was beyond excited about the woman she had become. What she wanted now was to know if she could have an excess skin removal surgery done.
I'm glad I'm taking on all the new responsibility I have. I'm headed to Dr. Now's office to see if I hit my weight loss goal and finally get approved for my excess skin removal. And I'm really hoping today's the day it finally happens. This weight on my stomach has become so miserable and so painful.
Sadly, she got another sad news from the doctor. Nikki was so happy with her progress that she started to go out more and neglect her strict eating habit. In order to get approval for the skin removal surgery, she had to lose another 50 pounds within the space of 2 months.
So let's try again, okay? Over next 2 months, lose 50 pounds, and hopefully we can approve you for skin surgery.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you.
All right. Thank you, Dr.
All right.
Now. It's a wake-up call to hear Dr. Now say things like, you have the potential of gaining your weight back.
The big day comes, and she gets her surgery done. She gets out of the surgery room, okay? But the doctors were scared that if she didn't have enough time to rest, all their hard work in trying to get her to look and feel better would go to waste.
And we try to get her up in a day or so and see how she's doing. She has a long road of recovery ahead of her, and we'll help her through it to get her to the other side.
It's been a couple days since my surgery, and I'm trying to slowly recover. I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm trying to slowly move around again.
Guess who finally hit her target in her weight loss journey? After the surgery and putting in so much effort to reduce her excess fat, Nikki went from weighing over 600 pounds to less than 200 pounds. Trust me, you could see how happy she was with herself.
That's incredible. I'm like 30 pounds from my target weight now, and 2 skin surgeries away from my goal. And that's amazing for me to even think about.
So,
Hi, Dr. Now.
how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. You are down to 194 pounds. That's 455-pound weight loss.
That number is breathtaking to me.
This wasn't the typical situation with people losing weight, trust me. It wasn't just one person who was trying to lose a ton of weight, but the entire family. The Perrio family all together weighed over 1,000 pounds, and trust me, they needed to lose all that weight as soon as they could because their lives were actually at risk. The story all began like this.
Perrio, I'm currently 783 pounds, maybe a little bit more.
My name is Brandy Perrio. My weight is about between 600 and 650.
My name is Clarence Perrio. I'm the oldest brother of Brandy and Rashonda. I'm not quite as big as them, but I'm big, you know.
We've been to doctors over the years who told us there's nothing they can do to help us.
For them to get any form of surgery done, they were all instructed by the doctor to lose a certain amount of weight each. Without meeting their weight loss target, they were going to be rejected for surgery. One of the siblings met her target to get her surgery done, and as you would expect, the doctors wasted no time in getting the surgery done. The other siblings, however, had a long way to go.
I'm hoping to be in my goal, which is 487 today.
I need to get below 465. Dr. Now give me a goal under 600 pounds.
I want you all to meet Dr. Eder. He is going to assist me with your all's case.
Okay.
Brandy, I'm approving you today for weight loss surgery. But Rashonda, you gained half of the weight you lost.
After her surgery, Brandy was doing pretty okay and was able to maintain her current weight and not throw all her effort in the bin. Her sister Rashonda, on the other hand, couldn't meet her target to get her surgery done. Seeing that she was slow with her progress, the doctor advised her to see a therapist to talk about some of her issues.
Should be at about 661 today. I should be down to at least 434 today.
I'm glad Brandy is staying on track, but I'm very concerned about Rashonda. So we'll start her going to therapy because she needs to start working through issues that are driving her to eat.
This time around, the entire family came to check on their weight loss progress at the hospital. Brandy, of course, was doing pretty well with her weight loss journey, but her sister had made zero progress since the last time she checked. Their brother Clarence had already lost enough weight to allow him to have his surgery, so without thinking twice, he had his surgery.
Rashonda, if you stay on track this next month, I'll approve you for weight loss surgery. Clarence, you've been working hard on your own. So if you feel like you're ready, I'm approving you for weight loss surgery.
Thank you, sir.
Today we're performing a gastric sleeve on Clarence.
Forward, go forward.
All right, let's pull it out.
I can suture it up.
Their situation took a turn for the worst at their next doctor's appointment. Instead of meeting their targets and losing as much weight as they could, they all started to gain more weight, and it was even more difficult for Rashonda because she was the only one out of her siblings who hadn't done her surgery. Even the doctor wasn't happy because they were not progressing.
Well, how's everything going with everyone?
Everything's been going pretty good.
All right, well, I'm glad to hear that. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like y'all's weight stayed on track. Because Brandy, you gained 24 pounds, and Clarence, you gained 10 pounds. Rashonda, you gained 21 pounds. So all of you going back in the wrong direction, and we need to correct that.
Rashonda was devastated by the news that she didn't meet up with her target to get her surgery done. I mean, both of her siblings had done theirs, so what exactly was going on? She claimed her energy level was different, and it wasn't so easy for her to lose weight the way her siblings did. She had no choice but to put in the work, and now she's ready to get her surgery done.
I'm really glad to be getting my weight loss surgery, but I'm still really nervous because I know I'm high risk and that anything could happen. But I'm not letting that shake me.
You guys can step out.
Because I know without this, I don't have much of a chance to be around for my future.
Everyone had finally been able to move on from the surgery phase. Rashonda had a successful surgery, and she was on her way to healing just fine. With all three siblings happy and proud of how far they had come, they decided to have a little get-together to celebrate their progress with their loved ones.
Starting to take off in ways that I'm excited about. And Clarence is doing more too, but we want that for Rashonda too. I'm just a little nervous being in front of everyone and seeing me.
Nothing good really lasts forever, right? After celebrating with their family, their journey was about to stop. Physically, everything seemed great, and it loomed like they had made so much progress. But psychologically, that was a different ballgame. They were all feeling the need to want to eat outside and refrain from following their strict diet, which in turn would bring their weight loss journey to a halt.
You've lost focus.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm trying to get back on it right now.
Okay. And Ro, what about you?
For the past couple of months, I've been stuck in a place where I just want to eat outside my diet and mostly junk food.
The therapy session turned into a total nightmare. The Perrio family was able to get through the phase of having to get their surgeries done. But when it came to the emotional aspect of trying to connect as a family, they were just not there yet. They hadn't let go of the past trauma and hurt that had accumulated from their weight loss over the years.
Clarence, have a seat, please. Let me say something. Let me say something. Let me say something. No. The goal of today's session was to assist the family with getting back on track.
They all decided to go solo in trying to lose weight. They felt being together wasn't going to help them achieve their goals, and they had to disconnect and try to figure out what worked best for them. They came this far. I bet they could even go further.
I think I'm good to do the rest of my goal without any other resources or apartments for things.
Recently, I've been getting more offers to perform my music around the state in places like Mississippi and Georgia.
Can you imagine always risking death anytime you have a minor fall? That is exactly how it feels to live in Wes's 705-pound body. Wes got sexually molested as a child, and his trauma response to that was to eat so much and become so fat that he was undesirable to anyone else. His weight gain was a defense mechanism against predators. Here is how Wes's journey began.
Have you ever seen a penguin walk where they walk side to side? That's what I feel like when I walk.
I can walk maybe 50 feet and then I have to rest. On a bad day, just the physical act of carrying all the weight on my stomach while my lymphedema is tugging me down creates a pain that is so intense, I want to pass out.
I remember growing up, you always saw...
Because of this fear, Wes lives with his front door unlocked so that if he falls, he can scream loud enough for his phone to dial 911, and when help comes, they would find his doors unlocked. But despite that, Wes still eats like 10 medieval kings, or 20 medieval kings.
I don't love the way my body looks.
It's hard to deal with everybody scrutinizing me. I'm grateful I can always rely on ordering through the app on my phone. One of the perks of living by yourself is being able to eat breakfast naked.
I don't enjoy clothes because clothes can be quite restrictive.
It is not going to be very easy to float in the sky if you weigh 705 pounds, Wes. Wes's first appointment with Dr. Now goes exactly how you would imagine it. And if you did not imagine Dr. Now going hard on him, you are wrong.
You sit at home alone most of the time and eat.
Yeah.
So your BMI is 112. Normal BMI is 18 to 25. And being over 100 BMI is very high. Your weight is putting a lot of strain on your body right now. How old are you right now?
36.
36. You got a really serious issue with your weight and you tolerating that.
Gosh, that is tough. Doctor now tells him that if he wants to live, he has to lose at least 100 pounds over the next 2 months. The good thing is that this gives Wes the strength to pull through and start seriously working on himself. He works himself so hard but only manages to lose 10 pounds. Sad.
I don't know what to say other than I messed up, and all I can do is try harder.
Why didn't you do it already? What happened?
I'm telling you I didn't stick with the diet. You asked me what happened. I'm telling you I didn't stick with the diet.
So what's the purpose of coming and telling me that?
To hold me accountable.
Doctor now continues and makes it clear to Wes that he has to decide if his life is worth more to him than food. So does this work? Does Wes make that decision? Well, he decided to stick to the program as best as he could to see if he was able to lose that 100 pounds in 2 months. Now, it is decision time. What does Wes weigh today?
That's good. Well, going down. It's something.
It may not be 100 pounds, but it is certainly something. Now we have to see if Dr. Now is impressed by Wes's progress.
So it looked like you figured out what to do to lose some weight, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're down to 606.
Yes, sir.
So you lost 100 pounds like you needed.
Yes, sir. Kicked my butt last time I was here. I didn't want to do that again.
So, so we'll go ahead and approve you for surgery.
Thank you.
Dr. Now does seem impressed. By the time he got ready for surgery, Wes had lost another 24 pounds. By the end of the program, Wes had lost a total of 228 pounds. And by the end of the episode, he weighed 477 pounds. He was finally away from the brink of death.
Today we're going to do safe gastrectomy and rest. He continued to lose weight and he's down to 582. So he lost another 24 pounds this past month. So he's working hard and he's ready for this operation. This is a very risky surgery because doing surgery on somebody in that size is still very risky.
She let me live one more day. When I first go to stand up, I can't hardly stand up. My back is hurting so bad.
Your nightgown is up right there.
And I know it's because of the weight.
Yeah.
Phew! Even I wouldn't want to leave her alone in a room. That has to be one hell of a morning for Rose. For a second there, I wasn't sure if she would stand up from that bed. The good part is that she can get up on her own, and she has the support of her family around her. The beautiful thing is that her grandson enjoys taking care of his grandmother, but her weight is starting to become a serious problem, and he is scared that things might turn out for the worst if she doesn't start to take her health seriously.
I mean, it's embarrassing. It makes me very, very unhappy that I can't do things on my own and I can't get around on my own.
You gonna go ahead and lay down and I'll go ahead and get your breakfast and stuff ready for you.
Okay, babe. Stress leads to eating. Eating leads to gaining weight.
Wow! Imagine having to shower twice in a week. I would cry every day if that was the life I had to live. You can tell how much pain she has to go through if she only has her bath twice in a week. Poor Rose. I honestly wonder how she got this fat and her life became a living hell. You've got to hand it to her though. At least she knows that her eating habits are going to do some serious damage. It's really not her fault though. She gets stressed a lot and the only way to cope with all that stress is to eat and eat and eat. The good part is that she knows it's not healthy. Hopefully that would be enough motivation to want to get better.
We sang for that day, but the next thing I know, my mom was gone. My stepdad, he started doing crimes and he got caught and he went to prison. The world didn't seem right without my mother.
That definitely had to have scattered her world. Losing her mother at a very young age did a number on her. The worst part is that after her mother passed away, her stepdad went into crime and eventually went to jail. Rose was just left to be by herself, and food was the way out of her depression. If I were in her shoes and that happened to me, I'm not sure I would ever recover. Imagine being married to your husband, and he then decides to start sleeping with your best friend of 22 years, and they go on to get married. That would just bring me to tears every single day.
You know I do. I said, you're the love of my life. He said, here, I want you to marry me. And I just started bawling. He put my ring on my finger.
When I first met her, I didn't know what to make of her because she was a little bit of a wild child back then. But
it's truly amazing that she finally met someone who loves her for who she is. The sad thing now is that she feels like she is too fat and her husband doesn't love her as much. This makes her question if he has other women he moves with due to the fact that her previous marriage ended with her husband cheating on her. You have to hand it to her. It's good to see that she finally sees and understands that she needs to start taking proper care of her health. She told her husband that she's ready to do what it takes, and she has so much to live for. Looks like she's going to be seeing the doc very, very soon.
I'm excited, but I'm nervous because I don't know what he's got in store for me. But I know whatever he's got in store for me to lose this weight, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Yep.
My bad.
Give me a kiss.
All one. Now that has to be the cutest thing I have ever seen on this show. It's amazing that Rose is surrounded by people who love her and a family that wants the best for her. She's about to hit the road to see Dr. Now. Will she be able to make it in one piece? I think we now have the answer to that. Rose immediately started to feel some pains while on the journey, and she had to stop at a hotel to pass the night. You can honestly tell that she is in so much pain.
I've got to get the weight off. I can't do it on my own. I've got to get help. If I don't get help now, I'm going to die. I'm here at Dr. Now's clinic for the very first time. I haven't weighed myself in about 20 years, and I've been avoiding it for a reason.
Phew. The silence says it all. Rose made it to the hospital in one piece. She checks her weight and it's very close to 600 pounds. You already know that's a lot for her age. Well, let's see what Dr. Now has to say about her weight and her condition. But knowing the doc, you can bet he is not going to spare her at all. Rose does seem like she wants to lose weight and get better, but he hopes that she is really ready to lose weight and she isn't just saying she wants to so everyone can leave her alone.
All right, so I'm going to bring you some stuff. I want you to read this stuff every day.
Okay.
You think you can do that?
Yes, sir, I can.
So sit tight. I'm going to bring you some stuff.
Okay.
Okay?
Alrighty. That's how dedicated I am to doing this.
And I'm going to be strict too, so.
Yes.
Her target has been set. The doc wants her to lose 50 pounds within the next 2 months. Rose assures the doc that she can and will pull through with the weight loss, but we all know it's easier said than done. We'll see if she can really pull through. Some part of me does have faith in her, and I feel she's going to meet her goal this time around. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt one last time.
You're walking. That's
yes, I am. How are you doing?
Good.
At some point in my life just didn't matter anymore. My grandkids really opened my eyes, and so I had to start caring. Wake up and smell the coffee. There's a beautiful world out there. Wake up and smell it.
Wow, wow, wow. Rose was up to the task after all. In 2 weeks, she's been able to lose more than 50 pounds. One thing I know is that Dr. Now is going to be very proud of her. Hopefully this gets her to her weight loss surgery. Well, at least it's for the best. Dr. Now finally approved her for weight loss surgery. Now she has to move down to Texas, and her family is scared that they won't be there to be with her while she gets the surgery done. On the bright side, she's getting her surgery done, so that's good. She has really come a long way.
I'm scared because I'm not used to, when I have surgery and stuff, my grandson not being there. Hand me this.
Don't drag it. You can pick this, push that up.
And I'm just scared because he's not going to be able to be there.
Abby has been on his bed for more than 7 years. The only thing that motivates him to keep trying is his wife, Brenda. He is 37 years old, and he has no idea what he weighs. Right now, he is scared that he might not wake up one day, and that just terrifies him. Can things really get better for him? Let's see. This is how his story begins.
My front part, I do by myself as best as I can. I wash the front parts that I can reach, and Brenda helps wash my sides and the parts of the lower legs that she can reach. In 2014, I was in that car accident. I lost feeling from my chest down, and now...
Man, imagine having to go through all of this every morning. It's not surprising that his wife is the only motivation he has to even want to get up in the morning. It's lovely that his wife takes such good care of him even with his condition. The crazy thing is that when he was much younger, he did not eat as much as he does now. Imagine that.
And Caribbean comfort food was part of everything. Crispy pork, deep fried bananas, rice and beans and mashed potatoes. It wasn't a good diet for a little kid to be, but I loved it. I couldn't have enough of that. And I wasn't overweight. I was really skinny.
Did he just say that how he ate when he was much younger is way better than now? Wow, now I'm curious. I wonder what made him love food from a very young age. My guess is that he went through something very traumatic.
So I lost like 100 pounds. I was 20 years old when I started actually in the dating scene. One of my coworkers, he told me about a new dating app for larger people. And I saw Brenda's face and I was like, she's cute. And I just decided to send her a message. She wrote back. And we started a relationship over the phone.
It never turns out that way, Abby. It never works out that way. His parents were never around to supervise his eating, so he always ate whenever and whatever he wanted. Funny thing is that because he was much younger, he thought he would lose weight over time. Sadly, that was not the case.
After many months, my spinal cord lost all its swollenness, and I started being able to move my legs.
I remember the first day that he moved his leg, I was crying, and we took a video of it, and we sent it to all the family. But that was enough for me to know that he will get through this.
I was finally allowed to move back home with my parents.
Ouch! That had to be a very traumatizing experience. Imagine buying an engagement ring to propose to your girlfriend, and you get into an accident on your way to her house that almost takes your life. Man, I'm sure his girlfriend would have broken down into a million pieces.
I didn't really get to say goodbye the correct way, but knowing what was coming ahead, it was a blessing when my dad went when he did, because a year later we had Hurricane Maria. And if he was still alive, that hurricane would have killed him for sure. Hurricane Maria struck Puerto Rico in September of 2017. It was a huge Category 5 hurricane which affected the whole island. We had no running water.
That's enough reason to actually fall into depression. That accident ruined a lot for Abby. His wife even said that the doctors that did his surgery told her that he might never walk again because of the damage that was done to his spinal cord.
I think it's around lunchtime. Do you want something to eat?
Sure. We got chips, right?
Yeah, we got chips.
I guess a sandwich and chips.
Okay.
Since I first arrived in Austin after the hurricane, I went to the Capitol building once, saw it. Oh, this is great. Never been outside again.
Come on, let's be honest. That's actually very impressive. Abby doesn't let the fact that he is immobile stop him from working and making money for him and his wife. He has a remote job that allows him to work from the comfort of his bed. Now, I wish I had a job like that.
Hello. Hey, Abby.
Hey, Dr. Now, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
I've been better, but I'm good.
You're in the bed? Not walking, right?
Yes, I was walking, I was working, I was doing everything, and I had a car accident. That's when I went paraplegic.
Seems like they work hand in hand to get things done. Since Abby can't stand up from the bed, his wife has to do all of the shopping, and she prepares their meals. What's amazing is that they get to spend quality time even after having a stressful day. That's lovely, but he really needs to start worrying about his weight.
If you need anything else, let me know, okay?
And I told Jason, the PT guy, that I have to stop sometimes when the pain gets too much for me to be able to move a lot.
What do you think you guys are gonna work on today?
We're working on trying to get my legs moving as best as I can.
Come in.
Hey.
That's not good. Abby finally reached out to Dr. Now, and it seems like he might have some serious problems. Apparently, Abby has been on the bed for so long that his feet can no longer be straight on the ground. He tells Dr. Now about his condition, and even the doc can't hide his worry.
See what's going on with him. I had a virtual call with him a couple months ago and gave him the diet. I will start working on his eating habit. And I arranged PT to start working with him to see how much...
That does sound like a good plan. Since Abby can't walk on his feet, Dr. Now says he is going to send some physiotherapists to come help him and see if he can still use his legs to move around. Let's just hope the damage to his leg is not so severe.
To push him up a little bit and see if we can work on those issues. We got a lot of territory to cover, but you have to be the driving force and all that and do your own part because...
Surprisingly, that went pretty well. The physiotherapist the doc asked to come check on Abby showed up, and they did some routine exercises. His leg isn't entirely bad, and he is still able to move around. The only thing now is that Abby needs to put in the work, so moving around would be possible and much easier.
What's wrong with that bed?
I don't trust the side rails on it, because I would have to pull on them or just trust on them to be able to sit on the side of the bed.
All right, we doing with your diet?
The diet, I've kept doing it. I've been...
For Dr. Now to come down to his house, you can tell he really cares about Abby and wants the best for him. But here's the thing. Due to the fact that Abby hasn't left his bed in 7 years, his sores are infected, and he needs to get the infection under control before it gets worse than it already is.
Playing that he doesn't have enough to eat. Thankfully, his family isn't in Houston, so he doesn't have anyone to try and sneak him food. So we have been able to keep control over his eating habit for now. And so the results of that are good.
Seems to me like Abby is at a crossroads with himself and his weight loss journey. He feels like the fact that he doesn't have a goal that relates to him losing weight is technically no goal. At this point, I think Abby might need therapy to stay on track with his weight loss journey.
Let's see, this one moves still. Okay. So I'm getting strong on both legs. I've been doing my exercises every day and trying to get as strong as I can.
That's good, because we got to get you out of this bed.
Yeah, that would change my life.
For a second there, I thought they were not going to be able to lift him out of the bed. More than 5 people trying to get him out of the bed is actually scary. Abby's condition is not getting better, and Dr. Now wants him to be close by so he can be properly monitored.
And pushing his body too hard, we may have to stop the surgery, but obviously we hope that won't be necessary. All right, so I'm gonna transition to robot. Because this operation is an important step for Abby.
Well, that's some good progress. Abby has been checked into the hospital, and so far it does seem like things might work out for the best. He feels way better than he did when he was home, and I can't lie, that's a pretty good sign.
I think let's see how much weight you can lose, how much strength you can gain back, and then we'll see if you hit a plateau. If you do, there are options available, but I think further down the road as you gain some of that function back. You know, obesity, affects your joints too. It's not just a mechanical thing, it's a chemical thing.
I couldn't agree more with Dr. Now. Abby has been able to lose up to 200 pounds of weight. Usually Dr. Now would send him home to lose some more before coming back. But with his current state, Dr. Now feels it's time for him to get his weight loss surgery.
The big challenge will be when you go home. And that is when nobody's there. You have to do your own part and get your strength back by working hard with PT, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so Abby doing okay?
You can tell that he couldn't wait to break the news to his wife. Dr. Now told him that he was approving him for weight loss surgery, and as you'd expect, the first person he called was his wife. He has come a long way. I'm pretty sure we are all proud of Abby.
So we'll keep up the good work, and we'll get you up walking pretty soon.
All right.
All right, Abby. I'll be back and see you later.
All right. Thank you, doctor.
All right. Nice to see you again.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
I am very happy to see that for the first time since starting with him.
Delana is at a point in her life where she can't move enough to do anything anymore. The first thought that goes through her head every day when she wakes up is the fact that she made it to another day. Imagine that. Is this going to be her wake-up call to get better? I guess we'll find out. This is how Delana's story begins.
Because it's so hard, it's so painful.
Hey, baby, gotta move.
And I know as soon as I sit up that the pain's gonna start, and it's just the same way all day. Pain, pain, pain.
An office chair to move around in? Oh my goodness. That has to be the most painful and worst thing that can ever happen to anyone. Having to roll to the bathroom even sounds like a task that could take an entire day. Poor Delana.
Getting up to take a shower. I typically do not bathe every day. I typically bathe every other day. I'm unable to get in the tub. I will sit on the side of the tub and use the shower head to wash my hair and my upper body.
I can't even lie. That's such a beautiful thing to hear. Her husband says that he hates to see Delana in pain, and that's why he is always there to make sure that he can help her with anything and everything that she might need. What a sweet man he is.
And sometimes the folds are so swollen together that you can't even get your hand in between them. So I have a back scrubber brush that had a sponge on it that the sponge broke off of.
All that stress to have her bath? Wow. If it was this painful, I'm pretty sure I won't even step out of bed. That just goes to show you that she's a strong woman. I just hope things don't get too bad before she decides to start making changes.
Just to stand up long enough to pull my pants up is excruciating. After I finish getting dressed, I'm just ready for breakfast. I'll have crispy bacon with sausages, biscuits, and a cup of coffee. It's not the most healthy, but it's also not the worst.
That's a lot of food. The only thing that brings her joy after having an excruciating morning from having her bath is eating so much food. She says that it makes her happy and brings back the feeling of euphoria. I wonder what happened that made her love food this much.
I was overly excited to be home. My cousin's name is Marianne, although to me, she's mom. She felt guilty because of what happened where I was taken from her. I missed an entire year.
That explains why she loves food so much. That's honestly how it starts. Once there's no one to control the eating habit, things just take a side turn, and that's what happened to Delana. It's just sad that she didn't get to spend enough time with her mother.
So I would just overindulge in brownies or cookies to solve the problems that are happening. It was a euphoria feeling. I would gain weight and then I would level out for a little while.
Jeez, it's as if the trauma just never stopped coming. She had a boyfriend who was abusive and she got pregnant for him. The abusive behavior got so bad that she had to kick him out. But when she gave birth to the baby, it was a full-time stillborn. That must have been hard.
I didn't think my weight was an issue, and I ended up getting pregnant with his child. We got married, and I had a perfectly healthy baby boy. Shortly after that, he decided that he wanted a divorce.
I'm really glad to hear that she started a weight loss class. It's not surprising that she turned to food as an escape given all the things she has been through. Once again, we can see that Delana is an extraordinary woman. It's high time she paid the doc a visit.
And a couple of days later, we went out again, and it just kept happening. We just decided to keep going out. During this little relationship time thingy, I ended up getting an infection in my leg. The infection caused a really big scab on my leg.
Isn't that just cute? Sometimes couples on this show just make me want to fall in love. Her husband is such a sweet man. He has been by her side since he met her, and it doesn't look like he plans on leaving her like the other men who came into Delana's life.
When we first met, I mean, she was still a big lady, but she was mobile. She had her own car. She was able to do stuff. We'd take trips to Florida and things like that, and just driving around. I miss being able to go do stuff with her. I mean, now we can't do that because she could not get into the vehicle. And it has me worried.
If there's one thing Dr. Now hates, is when someone who should help the patient get better becomes the patient's enabler. Oh, you can bet the doc is not going to be happy when he hears that. Regardless, it's good he is worried about his wife's health.
Hey, no, but I'm here. What can I do to help you?
Call the fire department.
We've got to do what's best for you.
Green County 911.
We need an ambulance. My daughter has fallen and we can't get her up.
If that happened to me, I'd probably never step out of my house again. Delana was trying to go out with her husband and mother when she fell down the stairs. Now they have to get an ambulance to help pick her from the house and get her back into the house.
Okay, further up. Ow. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Ew. At least they were able to get her back into the house without any serious injuries. At this point, Delana should really get things together and try to meet up with Dr. Now before she actually can't walk again.
So I've avoided it for a long time now. The last time I weighed, I was still in the 500s.
You okay?
Nervous, anxious.
Delana?
I'm glad I made it here on my feet, but this is rough. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I'm so nervous. Especially about seeing my weight.
Okay, that's on the high side, and Delana is not happy about what she just saw. From the way she screamed after seeing the digits, you can tell she was shocked by what she saw. She made it to the hospital, and her weight reads a lot above 600 pounds. Can she really lose weight?
To make bad choices. So don't convince yourself that you need that. You don't. So today I'm going to bring you some written instruction out, and I'm going to give you also some exercise plan.
Dr. Now pretty much said everything I was thinking. Delana needs to show him that she is ready to lose weight before he approves her for weight loss surgery. He wants her to lose 50 pounds within 2 months, and only then will she be approved for weight loss surgery.
Lately, life has been pretty stressful. The car still isn't fixed, and now it's starting to hold us up in terms of moving to Houston. On top of that, we haven't found a place yet either. It's been harder than expected, but we're still working on it.
Missing the appointment is not a good sign. But then again, it's not like it's her fault. Their car is still at the shop getting fixed, and they have no means of getting down to Texas to continue with the weight loss journey. Now she wants to speak to the doc to give him an update about how things have been going.
I don't understand how it's continuing to go up whenever I'm not consuming as many calories.
You know, that's not the reality, okay? There is no way you're gonna gain weight if you are eating 1,200 calories a day.
It doesn't seem like Dr. Now is impressed with the progress she has made. Instead of burning down calories, she's adding more, and it's making her journey slide backwards. She really needs to do better and put in more effort, just like the doc said.
I've done the best I can, and I know that it's not going to be a good trip for me. Right. So I'm going to go before it gets any worse. I love you, Delana. Love you, James.
Me too.
This is so sad. Delana still hasn't gotten her truck fixed and still doesn't have a way of getting to Texas. She asked her mother for help, and sadly, her mother said that she can't move down to Texas with Delana. This is to be the worst thing ever. Almost feels like she has been abandoned by everyone except her husband.
Once my mom told me that she wasn't able to make it, I made a phone call to my brother who lives in North Carolina. He takes care of my elderly mother, the one who adopted me. The one who's here was my biological mom. With everything that's happened, he's volunteered to go ahead and...
Phew, finally. For a second there, I honestly thought she was not going to find a way to make it to the hospital. Thank goodness she has such a sweet brother who is ready to do anything to make sure that Delana makes it through her weight loss journey.
So if I did that, I'll be 596 pounds or lower today.
Yay! That made me so happy. It took her a long time, but she eventually did lose more than 50 pounds. Moving down to Texas was not an easy thing, but she pulled it off and she is the better for it. Let's see if Dr. Now is going to approve her surgery.
All right, then stick with doing that, and if you lose that weight, then we proceed with your weight loss surgery. Okay?
All right.
Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, wish you good luck with your eating habit and stick with that, and we are proud of your progress.
So that doesn't work for me, and the only shower I can fit in is at my sister's place, so I have to go there to get cleaned.
I'm too big for chairs, hallways, doors, bathrooms, toilets, my bed. I'm too big for bathtubs.
My family has a compound here in Condor, Texas.
Well, it's good that he doesn't have to be all by himself. Lucas explains that he has become too big for chairs, hallways, doors, beds, bathtubs, and even his bed. His family has a compound down in Texas that's basically made of little buildings, and that allows everyone to have their own little personal space. Since Lucas can't fit into his bathtub anymore, he goes over to his sister's place to have his bath because that's the only bathtub that can accommodate his size. But getting there is one of the hardest things that Lucas has to do every morning.
By the time I get done, I still have to dry off and get dressed. I do it sitting down because there's no way I could stand for it, and the exertion from that can be difficult. I'm going to start sweating again, but I sweat pretty much all the time anyway. Once I'm dressed, then it's time to move on to something much happier, something that brightens my day every day of my life.
Like he said, food is the only thing he looks forward to after using all his energy to clean himself. Food is literally the highlight of his day. It's something that he is constantly looking forward to. He takes care of his sister's kids. This allows him to cook a ton of food when it's time to eat. He goes the extra mile to make excess food, so there's always leftover for him to shove down his throat. The funny thing is that his eating addiction didn't just start out of the blues. He has loved food right from when he was a child, and that addiction follows him into adulthood.
I guess I was just jealous of them. Jealous that they got more attention than I did.
So what I did when I felt that way is to go eat. And when I was eating something good, I could just focus on how good it tasted. And that's how I got myself to feel better.
I don't think my parents watched what I ate. I don't recall if they ever cared about how much I weighed when I was a kid, because I was neglected.
That's really sad. Lucas talks about his childhood, and he says that he never really liked being around his parents because he felt neglected by them. He would constantly ask himself if they loved him or if something was wrong with him because his parents gave all their attention to the other kids, and that constantly made him sad. His way of coping with the situation was to stay away from them and eat as much as he could, which kept him happy. Due to the fact that his parents didn't give him attention, no one checked what he was eating. He just ate anything and everything that came his way.
At this point, I can't really get a job. Or not a normal one anyway. Thankfully, my sister has been able to find work for me to do.
What does this mean?
Let me read it for you, okay? Patty Pig picks peppers to sell at the market. Help Patty track her peppers.
That's That's actually very smart and sweet of his sister. Apparently, due to his size, Lucas has not been able to find a job anywhere, and most of the time he is broke. His sister wanted to help him financially, so she offered that Lucas homeschools her kids, and she would pay him for the number of hours he taught her kids. If you think about it, it's a really good idea. Lucas gets to earn some money, and, on the other hand, also gets to spend enough time with his niece and nephew. If you ask me, that's a win-win for him and his sister. But Lucas really needs to start to consider paying the doc a visit.
Seeing my brother trying to do things for himself and being in so much pain, it really breaks my heart. Us watching him, my mom, my dad especially, it's heartbreaking. It's kind of devastating almost. All right, good night, bub.
Good night, Megan. Given my current living and income situation, I don't see myself being able to get out of this without outside help.
Man, am I glad to finally hear him say that. Lucas has given some serious thought to his condition, and I think he is ready to make the bold step to see Dr. Now. His current living condition is nothing to write home about, and he knows this. He is ready for the fact that if he keeps living like this, with no means of making money or being able to take care of himself, the worst could happen, and he might end up not waking up on a random day. Looks like he has found the motivation he needs to do better and wants to turn his life around.
You can step up on the scale?
I'm hoping that I haven't gained any weight, that I'm still somewhere in the mid-500s, and that I'm not worse off than I've been thinking this whole time.
Your weight is 619. You can step off.
Wow, looks like he wasn't expecting to weigh so much. Lucas has not stepped on a scale in over 5 years. He makes the drive with his sister to Houston to see the doc, and he is shocked by what he sees when he steps on the scale. He was hoping that his weight would be somewhere in the mid-500s. Sadly, when he checked his weight, he was already over 600 pounds. That's pretty high and scary, to be honest. Well, let's see if Dr. Now is going to put him on the weight loss program.
My biggest concern with Lucas is that he seems to have a dynamic of household that encouraged him to eat more. He was delivering pizza, which wasn't a great occupation for his situation, but at least he was active and out on his own. But now that he can do that, he's become an in-house babysitter, and I think the family maybe enjoy that dynamic with him.
Dr. Now is not wrong about that. He has examined Lucas, and there are a few challenges he noticed. The doc says that Lucas is surrounded by people who enable him to remain the way he is. His initial job of delivering pizza was not healthy because most times he ended up eating some of the pizza. Now he babysits his sister's kids, which doesn't allow him to move his body as much as he should. The doc is putting him on a 1,200-calorie, low-carb, high-protein diet and some exercises with the hopes that this would help him lose some weight.
So this week, I'm trying to combine it to where I get some exercise during the homeschool hours. So today I'm taking them outside with me and getting my exercises in that way as part of their PE class. Come on, we're gonna do jumping jacks. You know how to do jumping jacks?
I think like this.
You like that? Can you do it for me? That was pretty good. Try it again. Okay?
Watch me, sister.
I'm gonna try it too, okay? Okay? That's really hard for me. Gonna do 10 of those, all right? 1, 2, 3.
That's a pretty good way to combine two activities. After his session with the doc, Lucas faced an issue, having to take care of the kids while trying to work on his exercises. Since he can't split himself into two, he decided to bring in the kids to feature in his exercises. That way, he can watch them and also work on his exercises. It's a pretty smart move if you ask me. I just hope that it's going to be enough for him to meet his mark and get his weight loss surgery done. Time is not on his side, and he needs to have lost a significant amount of weight within the next 4 weeks.
How are you today? You look good.
At my first appointment a month ago, I weighed 619.
You can step on the scale.
Okay.
And Dr. Now told me to lose 30 pounds. So if I did that, I should be under 589 right now. And I really hope that I am, because I can't take a big failure right now.
Your weight is 590.
Yes.
Way to go.
Pretty impressive. He might be 1 pound short, but he did meet the mark. Dr. Now wanted him to lose 30 pounds over the span of 4 weeks. He was able to lose 29 pounds, which is not so bad. Lucas is worried that the doc might not be happy with the progress he has made, and that terrifies him. Lucas says that he can't afford to be sent away because failing to qualify for the weight loss surgery would break him into a million pieces. Well, let's see what Dr. Now is going to say about the progress that Lucas has made.
So what I want you to do is show me that you're going to at least stick with what you're doing now. By losing another another 60 pounds over the next 2 months. If you do that, then I'll know you're serious, and I will approve you for weight loss surgery. You think you can do that?
Oh, I can do that, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm encouraged with your progress, so stick to it, and then we'll see what we can do with you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Lucas has actually done a very good job. Like his sister said, he really had nothing to worry about. The doc was pleased with the effort he put into losing weight. What Dr. Now wants from him now is to continue to lose as much weight as he can over the next couple of months. If he keeps up the progress and continues to burn down weight, he is going to be approved for weight loss surgery. It's good to see that his baby steps are starting to pay off. Hopefully he gets his weight loss surgery soon.
So now that you lost weight and you stay focused, I'm going to approve you for weight loss surgery. So we'll go ahead and run some testing on you. And if everything looks good, we'll schedule you for next month. So how did that sound?
That sounds great.
All right.
Now, is that not amazing news? Dr. Now has approved Lucas for weight loss surgery. This was his second attempt to shed some weight, and he did so well. He clocked the mark for weight loss surgery, and now the doc told him to get ready and prepare for his surgery. Good one, Lucas.
But now the real work is gonna start for Lucas. So far, he's been taking small steps toward a healthier life. But now it is important for him to start taking bigger steps if he wants to keep his progress going and make it last for the long term. And that's not gonna be easy for him.
James has a very serious eating problem. He finds it very difficult to stop eating even when he is filled up to the max. He says that there is a voice in his head that tells him to eat anything and everything that can be consumed. He is 38 years old and his weight is already through the roof. The first thing he does every morning before even brushing his teeth is to order some food. Imagine that. He spends most of his time on the delivery service ordering all kinds of food. Trust me, it's a lot of food. Can Dr. Now save James? Let's find out. This is how his story begins.
Something in my head is telling me I have to eat the food. Food just takes away the pain. It takes away all the guilt. It takes away all the issues. Everything just goes away whenever I have that first bite. It just takes me to another place. You know, the food, it just blocks the world around you. And then you feel comfortable.
Remember when I said that it was a lot of food? I'm sure you see why I said so. The amount of food James consumes in one sitting is enough to feed a family of 5. Anytime he thinks he has had enough food for the morning, he finds himself thinking about food again. For him, food is what blocks the world around him. It makes him feel comfortable, and one thing he hates is to feel uncomfortable at any given time. Basically, food is his best friend. It's still mind-blowing that he eats before even brushing his teeth or taking his bath.
Because my father wasn't around. He would stop by at times to see us, but I didn't have a father figure in the house growing up. My mom used to always just give me a lot of food, so I ate very good growing up. I was over 100 pounds when I was 6 years old. And when I started going to school, I had to find ways to feed my appetite during the day because I was always hungry. So I got cool with the lunch ladies in the cafeteria.
Damn, weighing 609 pounds at the age of 8 is actually insane. James remembers his childhood being filled with a lot of food. He explains that where he is from, as you grow up, they feed you with different types of foods that contain heavy fat and high calories. This made him blow up as a kid, and that's where his addiction for eating a lot of food started. Even in school, he made friends with the chefs, and they would always sneak some food out of the kitchen and give it to him. Oh, and let's not forget the fact that he always had his lunchbox filled and would still eat so much when he got back from school.
What can help me do everything? And I was starting to feel like a burden on her shoulders as well. And I refused to let that stand like that. So about a year ago, I decided to come back here to New York. She was telling me that I could stay there with her, but I didn't want our relationship to become her being my caretaker. So I'm back here with my own place, and my family comes and helps me when I need it.
Phew. I'm just happy that he said the only way he can go back to Florida to be with his woman is if he loses some weight. It's honestly amazing that he thinks about wanting to lose weight. At the moment, he can't function at all. All he does is eat and sleep. For someone of his size, that's a really bad lifestyle. He even said that when he met his girlfriend, she put him on a diet, but that didn't last for too long. He was back to eating again, and his weight skyrocketed. If we're being honest, I think it's high time he tries to reach out to Dr. Now before things start to get out of hand.
My friends Mike and Marcus and my cousin Cheyenne is taking me to Houston to see Dr. Now. We're going down there as a last-ditch effort for me to lose weight, but I'm not looking forward to any of this right now.
Be careful.
I know this is a now or never situation for me, so I just gotta do this, and I mentally prepared myself for this.
He is not wrong about that. It's definitely going to be a hard experience for him. James's friend and his cousin have been able to convince him to make the trip to Texas and meet up with Dr. Now. James does not feel like he is ready for the emotional stress that is going to come with him having to lose weight. If you ask me, I don't think he is ready to give up his love for food, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Since he is making the big move to see the doc, maybe he is in fact ready to start losing weight. Let's see if Dr. Now is going to put him on the weight loss program.
And the only way we can change that and do weight loss surgery. But the obstacle course that you have is to get yourself to the point that surgery is going to be safe for you. Okay? So do you think you can do all that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
James definitely has his work cut out for him. He made the trip to Texas and was finally able to meet up with the doc. Trust me, it was not an easy trip, but he did make it. He checked his weight, and to his surprise, he weighed 625 pounds, which, as we all know, is on the high side. Now the doc has put him on the weight loss program and has given James a list of things he needs to follow. Some part of me feels like James is going to have a hard time keeping up, but if he says he can do it, then let's believe he can do it. For now, doctor wants him to lose 80 pounds within the next 2 months.
Any reason, okay?
Understood.
The only thing that will change that is losing weight. And hard time in your life right now doesn't mean that that's acceptable for not losing the weight.
No problem, Doc. I got you. I really want to do this, and then I'll come down to Texas, and I'll prove to you, and I'll show you that I lost the weight.
Looks like this is his second chance to give his weight loss journey a go. Apparently, after his previous appointment with Dr. Now, he began his weight loss journey and followed all the instructions that he was given, but something unexpected happened. He lost his dad, and that just set his progress back. He couldn't make it to the next appointment with Dr. Now, so he decided to call over the computer. As you'd expect, the doc felt sorry for him, but also told him that going through a hard time doesn't mean he should forget he is on a mission. He still needs to lose a lot of weight because time is not on his side, and this is his last chance to do better.
James?
Yes. And hopefully I'm going to be able to show Dr. Now the progress.
Go ahead and step on.
At my last appointment, I was at 625, and Dr. Now gave me a 75-pound weight loss goal. And if I made that, I'm going to be under 550 today.
We're going to go to room number 5.
That's progress at least.
I'm not sure Dr. Now is going to see it that way. It's been over 5 months now, and James has not been to the hospital to check in with Dr. Now. He finally makes his way to the hospital, and the total weight he has been able to lose in 5 months is just 28 pounds. Knowing Dr. Now, he is not going to be happy with that progress. I mean, we can understand that James's dad passed away and things have been a little difficult at home, but his health should be his #1 priority at the moment. Let's see if the doc will give him another chance, or if this is the end of the line for him.
I'm glad James at least made some progress, but it is clear he's still been lacking the motivation he needs to turn his life around. I know this has been a hard time for him and his family, but using his circumstances as an excuse to overeat and go to food for comfort is nothing new for James. This is all just part of the same pattern and unhealthy cycle he's been following for most of his life.
Ryan has a complicated relationship with food. He says that food has a grasp on him. He leans on food more than he did with substances, because when he eats good, he does not think about the substances. Ryan is 31 years old, and he weighs over 700 pounds. He hates his life so much because his body has gotten to a stage where he can't do anything by himself anymore. He has not slept on a bed in about 8 years. Why? Because every time he does, the bed ends up breaking. He sits on a particular chair all day long and doesn't stand up from there, except he needs to. Can things get any better for Ryan? I guess we'll see. Here is how his story begins.
I get winded and out of breath and just feel like I'm gasping and sucking for air constantly. And I'm gonna have to take my time getting back because I'm too weak to walk fast without falling. So I have to be careful making it back to my recliner. But even when I get there, at my size, it's just not as simple as sitting back down.
Wow, I don't even know what to say. Ryan's life right now is far from an easy one. Aside from the fact that he weighs over 700 pounds, he also has lymphedema, which prevents him from walking for long periods and also causes him to have a lot of pain while moving around. When he tries to use the toilet, he has to be on the clock because staying too long could mean he might not be able to get up from the toilet seat when he is done. The only relief is that he doesn't stay all by himself. Living like this is just very sad.
To deal with that, because it flipped my world to find that out. But then my grandpa got sick. As I started middle school, he went to the doctor. That was on my 13th birthday. It happened so fast. He had cancer in his foot and he was dead. It wasn't fair from The day that they said that he was terminal, he lived 6 days.
That explains why he saw food as his safe haven. Right from when he was a kid, he loved eating a lot. One of the major reasons he ran to food was because of his stepdad, who was always maltreating him. He then moved in with his grandparents, and for the first time ever, he felt like he had an actual father. His granddad was sweet to him, and he loved him very much. Sadly, he was diagnosed with cancer, and just 6 days after that happened, his granddad passed away, and Ryan went back to living with his family and stepdad. The only way he could cope with all the trauma was to eat and eat and eat.
And get more control of how I eat, because it's getting so bad. So I know that something's got to give, and that I have to stop this somehow. I have to break the cycle, because my addiction to food is killing me. Every day I have more pain, and I struggle more. And I'm scared soon it's going to lead to me dying in my sleep. That's how I think I'm going to go. And I worry most nights that I go to sleep.
This is what I always look forward to hearing. Ryan has given some thought to the whole thing, and he has realized that his eating habit is only going to make things worse for him. He has decided to break the cycle of eating aggressively. He understands that his addiction to food is killing him, and if he is not careful, his situation could get a lot worse, and he could end up on the other side. He has decided to place a call to the hospital and set up an online appointment with Dr. Now. Let's see if the doc is going to put him on the weight loss program.
I don't know how much you weigh, but if you are about 700 pounds, if you stick with the 1,200 calorie diet we're going to send you, you're going to be able to lose at least 70 pounds in 1 month, okay?
Okay.
So at this point, the starting point is going to be totally up to you to change your eating habit, okay?
Okay.
Well, it's easier said than done. Ryan has been on the call with the doc for quite some time now. He explained to the doc that he knows that his condition is not the best at the moment, but he is willing to give it all he has to get better and stay healthier. The doc gave him a list of diets he should follow and some exercises he would have to do. He also mentioned that he would like to know what Ryan weighs, and if it's over 700 pounds, he would need to act very quickly. The goal now is for him to lose 700 pounds within the next month before Dr. Now considers him for weight loss surgery. Is Ryan up for the task ahead of him?
The weight limit on the scale they have seems to be 660 pounds. But regardless of your exact weight, I'm going to give you the same goal. In 2 months, I want you to get down to 650 pounds. You think you can do that?
Yeah, I think I can do that.
And if you stick with a healthy diet, you can lose that and easily get under 650 in less than a month.
Okay.
Imagine trying to check your weight and the scale can't seem to give an answer. Wow. Part of the instructions given to Ryan was for him to get to a nearby hospital and get his weight checked. He did that, and sadly the scale couldn't read his weight because he weighed so much. The only solution to his problem now is for him to lose some weight and then come back to check his weight. The doc wants him to be at least 650 pounds before he checks his weight again. Let's see if he can do just that.
But he gave me a goal to get down to 650, to make it safer for me to travel to Houston, and so that the scale can start to read my weight. And I think I've not only done that, but that I might even be much lower than that today.
We're gonna go right in this room here. I'm gonna let you have a seat.
I don't understand that. I think the scale is malfunctioning.
I'm pretty sure we know what's going to happen next. It's been 2 months now, and Ryan decided to visit the local hospital so he could check his weight again. He was pretty confident that he had lost a lot of weight, and he felt he was ready to move down to Houston to see the doc. Sadly, after stepping on the scale, his weight was still too high and the scale could not read it. Now he is worried that the doc is going to take him off the program, and this might be the end of the line for him. Could he be right? Is this really the end of the like for Ryan?
But I'm skeptical. We'll see where his weight is at. And once we learn that, that will tell me a lot. Because if the scale still cannot read his weight, then he can continue with the argument that it is still malfunctioning.
Life is pure torture because I'm in so much pain from all my weight pulling down on my body.
I'm putting too much pressure on my legs, my knees, and it's too much weight bearing on my back.
And I can't get around without my cane now because my legs can no longer handle all the weight.
To be honest, I am very speechless right now. Looking at him go through so much difficulty every morning is crazy. Aaron makes 2 major walks every day, the one to the bathroom and the one to the kitchen. At least one of the walks satisfies his cravings and makes him happy.
It's a struggle for me every day just to go to the bathroom.
I refuse to ask my dad for any help at all in the bathroom though. He's the only one that lives here with me, and I can't let it get to the point where he has to do anything like that for me.
Wow, that has to be the most shocking thing I have ever seen. Aaron has to put a wipe on his cane to enable him to reach his back after using the toilet. That's very bad. He says that he doesn't want to ask his dad for help. How did he allow himself to get to this level?
So when I messed up, usually that meant a pretty severe beating.
He
would spank me pretty hard with the belt. So I was constantly afraid of my dad and what I was gonna be punished for next. And I started using food to help me stay calm. Because when I was eating, I felt good.
Weighing that much at that age is mind-blowing, honestly. Aaron says that his food problems started when he was much younger. His dad was a very strict person, and there was no room to misbehave. Anytime his dad spanked him, he would console himself by eating.
Especially from one of my older sisters, Margaret.
Aaron and I had sibling fights, as all siblings do. We'd argue about everything, but I was the only person in my eyes that could pick on him or say anything mean to him. You know, little jabs here and there because he made me mad.
Aaron must really hate his life to say something like that. It sucks that he feels like he is never going to have an amazing romantic life, and that he feels like he is not worth anything. Things have to change real soon. He can't keep feeling like this.
And they were both in their 60s. I was around 550 at the time, but I was only about 20 then, so I could still get around. And they needed someone to take care of them, so I decided to move back home to help take care of them.
That's the problem with food. Once you start eating so much and you make food your happy place, there's almost no going back. And Aaron is a perfect example. Even when he was certified as a caregiver for his parents, he couldn't go all the way for them due to his weight.
I need to hurry up and get in the room. So I get up and run to the bedroom, and my mother's sitting up in her mobility chair, blue in the face and not able to breathe. I'm panicking, not understanding what's going on, trying to get her to tell me what's going on, and she's just struggling to breathe.
Wow, that had to have broken him into a million pieces. Aaron practically watched his mother die, and there was nothing he could do about the situation. The sad part is that his mom died because of her weight. If that happened to me, I'm not even sure I would ever recover. Poor guy.
I worry that it's going to be too much for my father at some point, but it still doesn't stop me from having him do this, because this is the only way to get the groceries I want. You got the list, right?
I hope so. Aaron cannot get in and out of the car easily, and he can't stand and walk very far because he doesn't have the strength.
That's not good at all. Aaron's dad says that he loves his son but hates his eating habit. He doesn't say anything about it because he doesn't want Aaron to get mad at him. Well, if he wants his son to stay alive, he really needs to talk to him about his eating habits.
Actually, food is going to take everything from me.
All right, guys, everybody ready to eat?
Yeah! I know my weight is going to kill me soon if I don't change. My biggest fear is that I may not even have time to lose weight before some part of my body gives out.
You can't deny the fact that Aaron is surrounded by a family who loves him so much, but deep down, he knows that he needs to do something about his weight, or else he is not going to be around for much longer to have all this love.
And if something happened to me on the road, it could be very dangerous for me, because I'd be stuck with no place I could rest in the heat. So I'd probably be dead within an hour if I had car trouble or anything like that.
I'm just glad that he has finally decided to get the help that he needs. Being his size, he is exposed to a lot of health conditions that could make things go bad really quickly. He is heading to the hospital to see the doc, and hopefully he can start his journey and get help as soon as possible.
And now that I'm here, I'm even more scared than I was, because my entire life, and whether I'm able to live much longer, is completely riding on this. And I'd have no idea what to expect, or what Dr. Now is gonna say. So I'm terrified right now.
700 pounds is a lot of weight. Even Aaron can't believe that he weighs that much. I really hope he is cut out for what's ahead of him. Losing all that weight is not going to be easy, and I'm sure Dr. Now is going to feel the same way.
Everything you can to keep from losing your ability to get around and to stay active. So we have to turn your whole situation around right now, because you're very close to your body's breaking point, and it's going to give out very soon. There's a good chance that you have less than 6 months to live at this point.
Let's hope he takes everything Dr. Now has said seriously. The doc told him that he has less than 6 months to stay alive. That's if he keeps eating the way he does. Right now, he needs to start exceeding and reducing the amount of food he takes in. He assures the doc that he is ready to go what it takes.
The only thing I can even try to do is look after my niece and nephews while she's at the hospital all day. And it's making sticking to Dr. Now's diet a lot harder, because the food I have to make for them aren't things on the diet. Being around this food is hard.
That's not good. That is really not good. Aaron has to watch his sister's kids while she is away at work. The thing is, watching the kids means he can't go outside and take walks that would help him lose weight. It's understandable that he loves the kids, but his priority right now should be his weight.
If I don't make it, I'm afraid it'll mean I'll have lost my only chance to have all that, because I've run out of time.
Me and my dad are back at Dr. Now's for my second appointment. The last time I was here, I was 718. That was 3 months ago.
Like he said, that number is extremely disappointing to see. He did lose weight, but what he lost is not even up to half of what the doc wanted him to lose. I sense a scolding session coming up.
It's very unfortunate that nothing changed with Aaron over the last 3 months. He's being given a chance to save his life, but he's still choosing to make excuses. And as sorry as I am, father struggled with his health, and that it was a scare for all of them.
Phew, that is scary, and I'm not even going to lie. As expected, Dr. Now is not happy about Aaron's progress. It's even scary because his body is starting to give up, and Aaron hasn't made any significant progress. I really hope Aaron starts to put in the work.
And Dr. Now said I've lost enough to show him I'm staying on track. Yeah, I'm scared. I know, I'm trying not to be anxious.
Everything's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be...
Losing weight is not easy at all. Aaron is having an emotional moment right now. He got approved to get his weight loss surgery, but he is scared that the surgery is not going to be a successful one. You can see the fear in his eyes. Thank goodness his sister is there to reassure him that it's going to be all right.
But if Aaron goes home and starts to slowly push himself to overeat, he can start to stretch his stomach out over time to get it back to its original size. So when he goes off his liquid diet, we'll start him going to psychotherapy to begin the process of him dealing with his emotional issues. For now, his physical drive to eat is suppressed by surgery.
Aaron's surgery was a success, and he has his sister right by his side for all the support he would need. The job isn't done yet. Surgery is the first phase. Hopefully, from now on, Aaron can lose weight on his own.
30 to 50 pounds of excess skin in total. And removing all that will help you to your goal too. All right, how's your dad doing?
He's doing great. He's doing really good. He's really proud of me.
That's great. He should be, because you have done great. I'm proud of your progress. Keep the good work.
Brandon has allowed his body and weight to get out of control. He is 33 years old and he weighs over 600 pounds. His morning routine is the worst because he goes through so much pain just trying to stay clean. Will Dr. Now be his saving grace? Let's find out. His story begins like this.
And they feel like they're gonna buckle at any moment. And to make it even worse, I have severe lymphedema, which are these huge masses that have formed on both of my legs that hang and pull on my inner thighs. So it makes it even more painful to move and get around.
At least he has a reason to wake up every morning and put some effort into trying to clean himself. Brandon doesn't want his girlfriend to help him out in the bathroom, so he struggles every morning to clean himself, regardless of how painful it is.
So I'm not letting myself become bedridden. But I know I'm getting closer to that point whether I like it or not, because even basic things are hard for me. And I'm terrified of falling anytime I'm up, but especially when I'm in the shower.
That must be very depressing for Brandon. No one should ever look at themselves in the mirror and feel like they are a monster. It's honestly breaking to see that this is what he thinks of himself. If only things did not get this bad.
Thanks. Taylor usually brings me something before and we eat together.
What do you want to drink?
I'll take soda, please. And it's hard to describe the incredible. It's amazing. And nothing in my life has ever been able to compare.
Well, he might have to start second-guessing that. Brandon gets so much satisfaction from eating fast food and sodas. He eats with his girlfriend before she goes to work, and from the looks of it, she also seems to be on the heavy side because she eats as much as he does.
And it's been that way for a while now. Growing up, I wouldn't say my home was a peaceful place. My parents were constantly fighting, so there was a lot of screaming that would escalate into things being thrown at each other. So that's mostly what I remember of early childhood. And during those times, I would just normally be in my room. But before I would go to my room, I would go and grab as much food as I could and take it with me.
I think we're staying to get the picture. Brandon's weight gain started as early as when he was 6 years old. His parents would always fight, and he never wanted to be around them when it was happening. He would lock himself in another room with food while his parents yelled at each other.
And that's when my mom started to take notice of how big I was getting. So she started to get really critical of my weight, and her comments increased, and I took it as an insult. And I started avoiding her as much as I could because it would just always lead to a disagreement, usually about what I was eating, and I would get really upset. But around that time too, I started getting closer to my dad.
I guess we can call Brandon a daddy boy. Brandon says that he loved spending time with his dad. Unlike his mom, his dad never made him feel bad for always eating. As much as we can say that his dad was just being the best dad in the world to Brandon, allowing him to eat a lot was not a good idea.
So my weight rised because I wasn't eating like I had been for most of my life, because I was happy. But my senior year of college is when everything came crashing down again. I was 21 and I went home to visit, and I found out my dad wasn't living there anymore. He had been having an affair for years, and my mom found out and they split up. And I was just in shock and devastated.
And just like that, his relationship with his dad went down the drain. Brandon's dad had been cheating on his mom for a long time. When Brandon reached out to talk to his mom and try to work things out, it blew up in his face and he had to kick his dad out of the house.
I'm not sure when I probably crossed the 600 mark. If I had to take a guess, I would say somewhere around 27 or 28 years old. And it started to get really hard to do even basic things around then. But I was still trying to get out and go places. And I'm glad, because when I was 28, I met my girlfriend Taylor at church. We were just talking and we hit it off. So I asked her out and she said yes, and we started seeing each other.
Aha! I can't believe she just said that. Brandon's girlfriend says that the first time she saw Brandon, she could not believe that people could be that big, but she fell in love with him when they started talking. That just shows that Brandon has an amazing guy. The only problem is his weight.
And I often ask God, why was I made different? Why was I made with this craving or addiction to food, where no matter what I do, it only seems to get worse? So it makes me feel broken, and I don't know how to fix myself. But I know I'm at a point now where my eating and my weight are at a limit, and I'm gonna die soon if I don't change.
There's no lie in that. He has to do something about his weight before things completely get out of hand. It's good that he knows he has an eating problem, and he wants to try to fix it before it's too late. Looks like he might be ready to see Doctor now.
Could send Brandon into a spiral downward. I mean, that could just be really hard for him to hear that, but I would still be there for him, and I would definitely help him through whatever he feels after that.
And I'm already starting to feel a little overwhelmed, but I'm thankful. At least I have Taylor with me for this whole trip to help me when I need it. Not just physically, but also emotionally.
You just have to love it when people with weight problems have partners that are willing to go on their weight loss journey with them. Brandon says that as long as his big girlfriend is by his side, he can do anything because she knows how to motivate him. What a beautiful thing to hear.
The other thing I'm nervous about is finding out what I weigh now. I'm hoping I'm still in the 600s, but based off of the last time I was weighed, I think I might weigh over 700 pounds. But I really hope it's not that bad yet, because making it that high would be a whole other level of adversity.
Their faces say it all. That weight is not going to be easy to burn down. Brandon and his girlfriend make it to the hospital. Brandon checks his weight, and sadly, he is over 700 pounds. Now he's heading to see the doc, and he is scared as hell.
Not that long without basic checkup at your weight. And we need to make sure there's nothing going on with you right now that could, even something like your blood sugar, it can be too much for your body to handle. So you can't do that.
That's the best Brandon is going to get from Dr. Now. He tells Brandon that he has to start losing weight as soon as possible if he wants his lymphedema to get any better. He has given Brandon 2 months to make improvements before he decides what to do next.
I'm keeping track of every calorie I eat with the food journal, and Taylor is right there with me. She's helping me prepare healthy meals, and her support right now means a whole lot to me.
You don't add anything else to it, right? Just that?
Yeah, I'll take extra cheese and...
Man, all I can say is that Brandon has the best partner in the world right now. She's doing the weight loss journey with him, and Brandon seems to be making good progress. His next meeting is in a month's time, and he hopes that he will have made decent progress by then.
And I make sure that I cut all the sugar and carbs out of my diet and my intake.
Good. That's very good.
Yes.
Are you getting any support at home?
Absolutely. Taylor has been doing the diet with me. She's lost weight as well.
I'm trying to do your diet too, so.
Good.
Boy, am I glad to hear that. Brandon has proven to be unstoppable. Dr. Now is proud of both Brandon and his girlfriend because they've both lost a significant amount of weight. Dr. Now approves him for weight loss surgery, and they are the happiest people in the world right now.
And moving ahead on my journry.
Hello, Taylor, Edward.
Hey, pleasure to meet you.
Brandon will be here shortly.
All right, perfect.
So I'm just go ahead and get started. Unloading some stuff.
Dr. Now said he didn't have a problem. Rescheduling my surgery for a month later?
Can't argue with that. It's really going to be devastating if he doesn't get his surgery. Brandon and his girlfriend have moved down to Texas in preparation for his weight loss surgery. He is to see the doc one more time before surgery, and he hopes everything is going to turn out fine. Fingers crossed, I guess.
And we also remove his gallbladder. So we will get him to recovery now so he can rest. For the first month, he's going to stay on liquid diet, and that should help him to lose at least 40 pounds in that time. And after that, he should be able to lose at least 30 pounds a month until he gets close to his target.
As you can see, Brandon had a successful surgery. Dr. Now says that what's left is for him to continue to heal and slim down, because if he goes back to his old ways, it's not going to be good for him. Let's see if he can continue to lose weight after surgery.
And if you start losing a little bit more each month, then we can definitely have you there. Sound good?
Yes,
Okay.
excited.
You're doing great, and I'm proud of your progress. And you're going to be one of the few people that have lost 500 pounds in another years.
Awesome.
I'll see you both soon. And if you need anything, give me a call.
Thank you so much, doctor. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Here's Cynthia, whose weight is already above 600 pounds. Every morning for her felt like a scene from a horror movie. She would wake up with constant pains and body aches that left her unable to do anything, and her journey began like
the pain
this.
is intense. My ankles are swollen all the time. My knees are constantly in pain. My body is pretty stiff because I haven't moved all night, so it's hard for me to walk, and I have to take a lot of breaks.
That's a very horrible feeling. Trust me, having to be trapped in your own body, I would lose my mind if I were in her shoes. Her weight problem got so bad that even her family members
Once
started
I get
to
out
feel
the
like she was a
shower,
burden.
my daughter comes in and she'll clean out the back of my legs because my arms are too short to reach.
Mom, she tries to do everything. She tries not to be lazy. She tries to do a lot, but she can't.
You call her. Helps a lot. She is a 40-year-old woman in an 11-year-old spot.
Isn't Cynthia lucky to have such a sweet daughter? Imagine having to go through this all by herself. It would definitely have been crazy, but her weight problem didn't just start. Right from when she was in 5th grade, she noticed that she was way bigger than most of her schoolmates.
Third grade, I was bigger than the other kids. And I was probably in like a women's 20 by the time I was in 4th and 5th grade. But my family never made a big deal about my size.
Size was something that was seen as, kind of a birthright.
Of course, she was going to be bullied. Kids back in the day were never really nice to each other. Cynthia's weight was getting to her in all kinds of ways. The worst of them all was the fact that she could not play with her kids as much as she wanted to.
So I have to watch from the parking lot. I can see the benches in the playground area, but they're too far for me to get to. And there's nothing between for me to stop and rest.
On a scale to 1 to 10, how much I would like my mom to be out here is 100. It makes me kind of sad seeing my mom standing by the car and she doesn't get to play with us.
This has to be every mother's nightmare. I mean, who wouldn't want to spend time with their kids? You know what was more annoying about Cynthia's situation? It was the fact that she couldn't stop herself from eating and adding more weight. Take a look.
I stopped to get a snack. Hi. I need 3 large jalapeno, calato glaze, twists, a donut hole, a small orange juice, and a large orange. I am a special education teacher. And being a teacher requires being on your feet all day.
If she loves her body, she better slow down with all the junk she's feeding her body. After having several fights with her brother, Cynthia finally realized she had to find a way out of her situation. So, she paid a visit to Dr. Now, and this was how the visit played out.
I have eating habits. I eat in excess. If it's something that I really enjoy, I eat a lot of it.
So you don't get full?
I get full, but if it's something I enjoy, I'll...
I mean, isn't he right? It's pretty incredible that she can take care of all her kids with her weight. Anyway, the doc told her that she had just 30 days to lose 30 pounds, or else he wasn't going to approve her to get her weight loss surgery done. Is she going to be able to lose 30 pounds?
I am 6 pounds short. I don't know how the doctor's going to react, but I hope at least he sees I'm trying.
I'm still proud of you.
How y'all doing?
Good, and you?
All right, so you lost 24 pounds.
Well, she sure didn't meet her target to get approval for her surgery, but was that going to stop her from putting in the work? Oh, you can bet it wasn't. She actually did put in the work, and guess what? She got her surgery done. But I must tell you, it was a lot of work for the surgeon.
Perform a sleeve gastrectomy in Cynthia. We have to be very careful not to do anything to push her body over the limit, but we also have to work fast. Turn the room lights off. Because the longer she's under, the greater the chances of a fatal event occurring.
That was not a pretty scene. Oh well, she had a lovely surgery at the end of it all. All that was left for her to do was recover properly and try everything possible not to end up in her previous situation.
How's she doing?
Let's hope she can do
I'm
that.
only gonna get a certain amount of information.
I'm good.
The worst pain that she has is probably when she sleeps because she can't get comfortable.
Take the pain medication
But
to
it's
help
not
you relax.
Clarence, that's okay. Pain medication is not gonna fix me being able to sleep on my stomach. And it hurts to sleep on my back.
Most times, some of these guys never know how much damage or harm they bring to themselves, all in the name of satisfying a craving. They keep feeding their bodies with junk and eventually end up in situations that could almost end their lives. This was how Ashley R's story
I would have my
began.
white picket fence, I'd have kids, but my life is nothing like that. It's a nightmare. My entire body is in constant pain. I'm completely miserable. It's a struggle to just move at this weight.
Do you need me to help you up?
I can't do anything on my own.
I mean, what could be worse than feeling the way Ashley R feels? No day went by in Ashley R's life where she did not shed a tear about how she looked. To make things even worse, she always had to ask for help whenever she wanted to do anything.
Because it's just painful. It is painful sitting there. It is painful holding myself up. It is painful when my mom scrubs my back.
It's really hard for Ashley to take a shower. I have to help her because if I'm not there, she has to ask her husband to do it.
Trust me, you do not want to find yourself in Ashley R's shoes. The funny thing about Ashley R's situation was the fact that when she was much younger, her parents noticed signs that she was going to have a weight problem. How did that happen? They noticed that Ashley R was the only chubby kid in her class.
But I always assume it's baby pep. You know, it's going to go away.
Back in the days, we didn't think that was something wrong with Ashley. We thought that was just part of life, that she was healthy and she was just loved to it. We never thought that was going to be a problem later on in her life.
Wow, that must have been one hell of a traumatic situation. I mean, why would her uncle do such a thing? That's just sad. Moving on, when Ashley R met her husband, at the time, how much she weighed didn't matter. But over the years of their marriage, things started to change.
What I really loved about her was her sense of humor, her charisma, her eyes.
We did things. It was like a normal couple. But each year I kept gaining more weight. So we had to stop our outings. We had to stop doing what we normally do because I wasn't able to do it anymore.
It's normal for every husband to take care of his wife, but in her husband's case, he might need to get paid because he does everything literally. What was even more annoying was the fact that, despite her size, she still couldn't stop eating,
Even though
this was the
I know
reason
it's not,
she gave.
As I'm eating, I feel numb, and it's better than feeling stressed. Every time I get out of the car, my stomach is so large that it presses on the horn.
You don't need me to tell you how much she hates her body after that. Anyway, she finally made a bold step and decided to pay a visit to Dr. Now. Even before she got to the hospital, she was already terrified of what the doc was going to say. Well, this was how her visit went.
What's the biggest challenge with your eating habit?
I'm usually just snacking all day long.
So why are you doing that?
Because I'm hungry. I know I shouldn't eat like I do, but in everything I eat, I feel so guilty about eating it. You know, I know that I'm not supposed to be eating, sweets or sugary things, but I crave them and...
That does not sound comforting one bit. But he had to be very sincere with her. She was killing her body with all the food she was consuming, and if she didn't stop, she was not going to make it to 40. Listening to all that, she put in the work and finally got approved to have her surgery.
So you lost 54 pounds. So how is your eating habit now?
I measure everything, I weigh everything in ounces, make sure the portions are under control. I have more protein, and now I don't snack at all.
Okay, super. Ashley's done well this month. Losing 54 pounds has demonstrated that she's able to control her eating habit.
That has to be the best news she has heard in a long time. Anyway, the surgery day came and Ashley R had a very successful surgery. All that was left now was for her to heal and try to maintain a healthy life. But for Ashley R, it wasn't as easy as she hoped it would be.
Walk again, but you gotta walk through the pain. I feel like my stomach's like compressed like this, and when I stand up, it slowly releases. It's just, I guess, baby steps at this point. I wish I had my entire family here, but I have Daniel next to me. I don't know if I could do this without him.
Thankfully, she has her husband by her side to help her make a quick recovery. Imagine her having to go through the healing process alone. She would have lost her mind. Even after the surgery and drastic weight loss, Ashley R. still had issues with her eating habits. At this point, let's just
Tell
say
me a little bit
only
about
God
yourself
can
and
save
your
her.
situation and how you ended up here.
Well, I mean, I've been battling with my weight my entire life, and I had weight loss surgery.
Okay. How's it been for you since the surgery?
I feel like I'm disappointed in myself and my body and the way that I'm recovering, because before my surgery, I was exercising and I was so energetic. And now I'm just really uncomfortable with the nausea and the fatigue.